Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of What Happened to My Pressure Washer. Customer calls and says, "Hey man, we're out here washing and all of a sudden there's no pressure. Nothing comes out of the hose. The machine made a horrible noise, so we ran over here and found the sight glass on the side of the gearbox had shot off, but no oil had come out. Upon further inspection, he determined there was no oil in the gearbox. He knows for a fact it had oil because he put it in it. Anytime you start the machine, pull your dipstick, check your oil in your motor, check the oil in your gearbox, and check the oil in your pump. Where does the oil go? I don't know, but it disappears. I don't know if somebody steals it at night when you're not looking or if it just evaporates. And I would recommend replacing these sight glasses where you can't see inside of them. That's a pretty cheap replacement. I would just recommend replacing those. If not, use your dipstick and check your oil level. The customer did tell me that after all this happened, he came over here and he unscrewed the filter with the tank full of water. He unscrewed the filter and water did not come out initially. It took it a few minutes, or a few moments, and then water started pouring out. So I wanted to know what would cause that. To me, it sounds like there was air in the line. But upon further inspection, due to this toolbox being placed here, it's pushed downward force on this hose, and it has caused a hairline crack. Well, when you get hairline cracks in hoses, you can start bringing air into the system. And if it creates an air bubble or an air gap, it's not going to allow the water to flow.
Alright guys, so now that we got this thing in the shop, we're going to do a little surgery here. We're going to tear this pump down, see what we're working with. Tear this gearbox off. We're going to make a little bit of a mess, I'm afraid. But not quite. Getting to that one's going to be a little bit fun. Golly.
I expect this to make a big old mess. There comes the oil. So the pump is okay. So this is the point in the repair where we pause, take a moment of silence for the gearbox that has lost its life serving the calls. So you can see there's some damage here, and then if you look down here, you're gonna see some actual pieces of material. Sticking my pointer in here, you see that? You can see metal shavings here, all along through here. You can see all these metal shavings down here. I mean, it's a ton. This gear went all the way across at one point. So you can see the teeth here and teeth here, but in the center, it's gone. This space right here is the exact same width as the gear that's on the pump. So we now know that the gearbox failed.
Alright, little unboxing action going on here. New gearbox that will replace the damaged gearbox.
So I went over to Harbor Freight this weekend and went to go pick up some new gloves. I like those 7mm black gloves, and they were completely out of the extra large size, so I had to I had to just agree to go with these little 5 mil gloves, and to be honest, I'm not real excited about that. Any rate, so this is the pump mounting plate here. And then we've got, let's see, in this bag we have the sight glass, the mounting hardware, the oil drain cap, and the oil cap for the top of the gearbox itself. And we have more mounting hardware and the O-ring and more hardware. And then we have the actual gearbox itself. So this will be mounted on the pump. I'm going to set this to the side for a moment, and then we're going to start putting the gearbox together. So if you look here on the sight glass, you're going to see there is a gasket material that goes around it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to screw this into the side. Now obviously we don't want to over tighten this because it is a bit of a plastic material, and we definitely don't want to over torque it
and break it. Alright, so we gotta look at how this would be mounted on the engine itself and how the pump layout would go. So let me double check this real quick, make sure I got everything correct.
So this orientation is actually going to work out much better for this setup, because this sight glass will be visible from the outside of the trailer. So at this point this will become the bottom. Now we're putting on the oil drain plug. So there's a washer that goes right underneath this brass plug, and so we've identified the orientation of the gearbox and how it's going to mount with the pump. So the head of the pump's actually going to be over here, the back of the pump here with the sight glass on it. So both of your sight glasses are lined up so you can easily see them. This is now the top of the pump gearbox, and this is the bottom of the gearbox. So
the next thing we need to do is put the pump mounting plate, which will actually fit like this. So these are the bolts